Hello BookTube, it's Joshua here, and I'm going to be doing the April Showers slash Rainy Day book recommendations tag. I was tagged by Book Chat with Pat. Thank you so much, Pat, for tagging me. Um, and this tag was originally done by Sabrina at Beyond the Book Reviews. So the first prompt is share a book with water on the cover. For that, I chose The Collected Poems by William Butler Yeats. As you can see, it has this really beautiful cover. I believe the publisher is Macmillan Collectors Library, and it's this nice little pocketbook and really beautiful painting there. And there's the water. I'm also gonna read you a poem from William Butler Yeats because I'm gonna read you his most famous poem, the Lake Isle of Innisfree, and in this poem there's a specific line that conjures the scene of a lake, and I find it to be very beautiful, so I want to share it with you, just quickly. The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and to live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway, or on the pavement's grey. I hear it in the deep heart's core. So that was the poem, and that line, I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. I just love that line. I love the sound of it, and I love the image that it conjures up, and it's water, so it's in keeping with the theme, so I figured it was okay to share that. Number 2, what's a classic novel you would like to curl up on the couch with? For this, I chose In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. This is Swan's Way, and as you can see, there's a pillow and a bed here. So this really does fit the prompt of curling up on a couch. And I believe inside this story, the narrator himself is very often lying down in a bed. So it's very fitting. I love this book a lot. It was one of the first books that I really fell in love with, and it's just I found it to be a very cozy, comforting read, and also a very beautiful read. So that's Proust. Number 3, share a scary book you would read during a rainstorm. For that, I chose The Hound of the Baskervilles. This copy here is just it's a kind of collection of Sherlock Holmes. I believe it has a number of his short stories: The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, and then The Return of Sherlock Holmes, along with one of his novels, which is The Hound of the Baskervilles. And that novel, I haven't actually read it. I've only listened to it. I listened to Steve's read aloud of it, which was loads of fun. And honestly, I found certain parts of it to be creepy. Just the idea of a hound on the moor was pretty exciting. So maybe I know a lot of people like to read and watch horror, and their tolerance for scary things is probably much higher than mine, but I'm choosing this anyway. 4, what's a good book rec for rainy days? For this, I chose the poetry of Robert Frost. Robert Frost, his poetry is always very it always somehow relates to nature. It always relates to nature, and whenever it rains, it's always very beautiful outside, and so I also want to go outside and experience nature. So naturally, I associate rain with nature and with Robert Frost. I want to read you a poem by Robert Frost, and this is a very famous one. It's called Nothing Gold Can Stay. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. So as you can see, it's that poem, which was a famous one. Um, it was very much related to nature, and well, I think it's nice to read on a rainy day. 5. What two characters would you like to spend the day with? For this, I chose two characters from Louisa May Alcott's novel Little Women. And the characters would be Laurie and Joe. But really, I chose these two characters, and I chose this novel just as much for the setting as for the characters. It would be really cool to go back in time to 19th century Massachusetts and and I don't know, and I guess just hang out with Laurie and Joe and just experience nature there and have fun. I feel like that would be a lot of fun to do. So and you know the novel is really always very not whimsical, but just very happy or very vivid in its color. And so it's a world that I would like to jump into and to explore. So that's Little Woman. 6. Share a book that has blue on the cover. For this, I chose the Silmarillion. As you can see, it's only a little bit of blue, but I wanted an excuse to hold up the Silmarillion because I'm actually reading this right now. I'm a little over halfway through at this point, and I'm really enjoying it. There are parts where it's a bit slow and where Tolkien is just world building essentially and not telling much of a story, but then there are some chapters where he tells some of the most beautiful stories ever. It's really wonderful. This is my first time reading it, so I'm happy to hold this up and show it to you guys because I'm really excited about it. 7. What book has a rainy setting at some point? Well, for this, I don't actually have an answer because I've been thinking about this for days now. I've been trying to find an answer to this question, and I can't remember if I've read a novel that has rain as a setting. I'm sure I have, but I guess my memory just doesn't remember that part of novels. It doesn't remember what the settings are in novels. So sorry, I have no idea. 8. What book would you not mind using as an umbrella? Now, I should say that I wouldn't use any book as an umbrella, but one book that maybe I don't like as much as others is T.S. Eliot's collected poems. I have no doubt that T.S. Eliot wrote great poetry, or that he wrote a lot of, well, really, yeah, that he was a genius, really. But I've just never particularly enjoyed his poetry, at least not much of it. I like the preludes, or I think it's just called preludes. I'm not sure, but I like some of his poetry, but other poems I have had a hard time getting into. I've had a hard time enjoying. So I just don't like it as much as other poets, but I still wouldn't use it to shelter myself from rain. 9. Which character would you like to share an umbrella with? And now I'm going back to the Silmarillion, because I read the chapter Beren and Luthien, and in that chapter there is a dog, or I guess it's technically a wolf, but they're pretty similar, I guess. But there's a dog or wolf in the chapter, who's really an amazing character and kind of the unsung hero of the story, I think. So I would share an umbrella with Huon because I loved that story. It was super beautiful, and I love that character. 10. Share a novel with a dry beginning but amazing ending. So for this, I chose the Iliad. and I may when it comes to dry beginnings, I'm mainly talking about that that list of ships and of names and of places that I think occurs in book 2 of the Iliad. It just goes on and on about where this guy was from and what his homeland is like, and all the people he had with him, how many people he had with him, how big his ships were. And it goes on and on and on for like every single character in the epic. I would say that's probably a dry beginning, but once you get past that and once you get to the battle scenes and um, and all that, you just get swept away. It's a really amazing epic. So that was the April Showers and Rainy Day book recommendations tag. Um, I'm not gonna tag anyone because, well, I guess it's not really April anymore, and I'm just gonna say if you like this tag and if you like the prompts, feel free to go do it yourself. Um, and thank you, Pat, for tagging me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Sabrina, for creating this book tag. I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.